what I'm going to do is jump out to how to break out Kong in Reason. One of the things that I found with Kong is that it uses the main outputs L and R on the back of it. It originally starts out with the master effects, which I'm going to show you, but it had 2 channel outputs. And then if I flip over to the back, there's breakouts. So let me show you. I'm going to come in here and go to instruments. I'm going to bring a Kong channel in. All right, so we have a Kong set inside of here. As you see, we have drum 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Okay. Everything's pretty straightforward with Kong. But I'm not going to dive into how Kong is used. What I'm going to do is hit this down arrow to show the drum output for every one of these pads. It is the drum output of master effects. That means it runs through the module or whatever is set to here. It can or cannot bypass the effects depending on your choosing. However, everything gets routed through the bus effects to the master effects unless you specify otherwise. However, if it comes back into these jacks, it will be following out of the master effects channel, which is automatically routed to the main audio output. Now, according to here, we're going from the main audio output to the mix channel. So automatically, the main master effects channel is automatically routed to the main output of this device. However, we can just go straight to the main output of this device and be sent out. I can honestly use this master effects for some external instrument out here if I wanted to. Bring it into either the bus effects or the master effects and route it back out to wherever I want it to go. But that's another story for another day. Today, what we're going to discuss is using this breakout section and send all of these to individual mix channels. So that way we're able to process each one of these drum elements individually. Okay. So for some people may used to have used these kind of sequencers as a 2 channel. So what I mean by that is have my kick, hat, snare, whatever is in this drum configuration, and everything is busting out to the stereo mix channel. But if I were to mix all these elements, I will have to do so within this panel and within the effects here, because what I put on this channel affects all of my drums, and that's not what I want. If I want to just beef up the kick, and let's say I wanted to use something like pulverizer. If you haven't used pulverizer, then you're missing out on about half of your life. You want to break out all of your channels. That way you have individual control of how the elements can sound tonality wise. And especially if you export your tracks like me to a separate program to mix, then you want to have control over each element. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to open up my browser, and in utilities, let's see, we have 16. We have 16. However, I'm only going to do the first 4 because once I do 4, you'll get 8, 12, and 16. All right, so we're going to hit bring in 4 mix channels. Okay, I can come in here and label them 1, 2, 3, and 4. Very simple, straightforward, follows exactly what is on here. Okay, on my template session, I actually have my drum styles laid out. If you didn't know, double click on there to rename the pad. So I have my Kong already laid out, and so as well as my mix channels. Now, here's a secret thing about these mix channels. When you click on the pad, these drum outputs automatically bust out stereo. Therefore, drum 1, if I select this, goes to the stereo drum 1. Same with 5 and 6, 7 and 8, and 9 and 10. Okay. As you see, they automatically routed stereo. Now, to hear a difference, let's go ahead and throw in some samples. Actually, we'll use a Kong patch. Let's say I'm getting into house, so we use the deep house set. Okay. Okay. As you see, they're all being routed to the main section. Now what we're going to do is route it to these channels. I'm pretty sure you figured it out. Change the drum output to 3 and 4, and they're routed to here. We're going to do the same thing, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10. I'm going to hide this window, and now we have this. Cool. So if I can name this kick, I can name this clap, hi-hat close, and hi-hat open. That's all well and fine. Here's the problem that we run into. These are all stereo, correct? So we have 3 more channels I can add in. So I can have up to mixed drum channel 7. Problem is there's 16 of these pads. Yeah. What do? Well, very simple. These pads work in a true mono system. And what I mean by true mono system is these work in stereo. The best way that I'm going to say this is stereo couples. Unlike the rest of the devices in Reason, where the left is the only mono source, because these work in stereo couples, if I pan one side to the left, it will only show on that side of the stereo output. Let me just go ahead and demonstrate this for you. We run out of buses because of the stereo mapping of Kong. However, all of that can change if I switch this to mono. So I'm going to hold shift and drag this down to the input. And now 3 is the only channel showing up in drum 1. If I click this, you see it changes to a mono, and I'm only getting the mono signal from here. Clap is not routed to anywhere. But if I wanted to route clap to another section, I so can. And here's the problem now. Because 3 and 4 are stereo couples, that means because this pan is in the middle, it is a summation of both the track playing on the left and the right side evenly, which is making the output of that channel 3 mono. It is playing in both left and right sources mono. So right now the bass drum is playing out of channel 3 and the bass drum is playing out of channel 4 mono. No panning in either one of these. If you know, I think that's the best way I can explain this. So as you see, the clap is set to output 3 and 4. It's physically outputting on channel 3 and channel 4. However, because these are paired together, these are stereo coupled, they're paired together, it's playing on an even amount on channel 3 and an even amount on channel 4. If this was true mono, those sources would double in power. And how you know is if I move this to the left, you'll see the difference. I'll move it further. You see the changes in level. This is adding, this is subtracting. If I move it all the way to the left, full power or the full signal is coming out of this left channel right here. So what does that mean? Well, that means, ladies and gentlemen, I can take this and route it to the right side of 3 and 4 And now we have this one track with just a clap and this one track with just a kick. So this is purely coming out of output 3. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is coming out of output 4. Now we do that to the rest. Even so, you can also route the main output in the same exact manner. So originally what I would do is you can use a main output most likely for playing Kong and making things exactly how you want Kong to come out, which is really good for the main output. Then you can unroute the main audio output and use that as your 1 and 2 and run through the rest of Kong. Because as you see, they substitute 1 and 2 here for the main audio output. But if you route the main audio output as so, you achieve the same desired effect. It's the same thing. So if I go ahead and route all of these to where they need to go, now instead of using the stereo outputs to the mix channel, all of these can now be their individual mono sources. Just like that. And that there is the basis of separating Kong into the individual mix channels. Now you can individually process these as many times over as you want. So let's add a little bit of saturation to this just because. And if you haven't used Pulverizer, it's just a good time to start. Just like that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you separate the individual mix channels from Kong into the mixer. Visit the website for more videos and tutorials and any other kind of demonstration. Leave me a comment, a note, email me if you have questions, anything that you can think of. So just let me know. And until next time, my name is Calm and see you later.